Hi guys, happy Wednesday. Is it Wednesday already? How is it Wednesday already, guys? Right, what are we doing today? First of all, I want to say, please come to our Zoom this afternoon. We can do some circle time, just a little bit of chit chat, see how you've been up to. Got some silly questions for you. Look forward to seeing you there. Maths today, we are carrying on thinking about decimals. We're thinking about complements to 1, which are basically like number bonds to 10 or 100. We're doing number bonds to 1. If you know your number bonds to 10, you should be able to do your number bonds to 1. If you know your number bonds to 100, 45 add 55 makes 100. 0.45 add 0.55 equals 1. You should be pretty good at this because you're good at your number bonds. Today's English, I would like you to write a short story for children, that's our audience, about a pet that gets lost and their owners are trying to find them. I'm going to use paragraphs. Lots of you have forgotten how to use paragraphs. I want you to plan it out first. Think about what the pet's going to be. Is it going to be a normal pet, or is it going to be something more exotic, like Welcome Lyle, the crocodile? And where do they live? Do they live in London? You know, they live in somewhere more exotic. I want you to think about where that animal's gone to hide, and the owners are going to look for them. So it's a bit like a quest story, because the person's going to go on a journey, although it'll be a local journey. This is a story for young children, so they're not going to go on a big epic Lord of the Rings quest. They're probably going to go and look around some normal places. So if I was writing this story and I was setting it in my local area, I would say, Harry the cat has gone missing. So all the neighbours went out to look for him. The neighbours looked in the garden sheds, but Harry wasn't there. They looked in the garage and Harry wasn't there. They looked behind the postbox. Harry wasn't there. They even went to Sainsbury's and Harry wasn't there. When they got home, they had a cup of tea and a good think, and they heard a meowing, and Harry was at the door. He was sat on the doorstep. Welcome home, Harry. Would be my very, very basic version of my story. What I would like you to do is see if you can flood it out with some more detail, though. I would like you to use some relative clauses, for instance, adverbials, use some conjunctions to extend your ideas. I don't want it just to be a sentence, a 7-sentence story. I want you to try and pad it out a little bit. Tell me how the characters are feeling. You could get some dialogue in there, but it doesn't have to be very, very crazy elaborate. You're just writing a story for a child, so nothing too crazy. I said you can make it into a mini book if you would like to, with illustrations, or you could write it up as a comic strip, or you can just write it in your book. It's up to you. Today's spag, we're doing some handwriting today, and we're going to look at a poem called The Tiger by William Blake. It's a really, really famous poem. William Blake wrote some other famous poems we've looked at. Can you remember any? Bonus points if you said a William Blake poem that we've looked at already. It reminded me, I'm going to share my screen again, of when we went to the British, not the British Museum, the National Gallery. At the National Gallery, we saw this painting when we were in year 2. And this painting is called Surprised, and it's a really famous painting. I did write down in your pack that I thought that this painting, or one was inspired by the other. The poem was inspired by the painting, or the painting was inspired by the poem, but I don't think that's true. It's just a really lovely poem, a really lovely painting, and a really lovely poem. And when I was looking on the National Gallery website, I just typed in Surprise National Gallery because I knew that it was in there. If you scroll down, there's a really nice video here where someone from the National Gallery explains how you can make a very similar picture using different bits of paper you might have in your house, like a collage. So if you're feeling fancy, you might want to have a go at that. I do really like this painting. Do you remember going to see it in year 2 with me? We didn't go to see that. I think we'd gone, what did we go to see? Maybe, we didn't go to see the sunflowers. Oh, it's when we were learning about Turner. And we were going to look at the Turner and the Constable paintings. Do you remember? That is when we saw Surprised. Anyway, it's a really lovely poem. Make sure you follow the structure. Please don't just write out lines and lines and lines like paragraphs. When you're copying out poetry, you need to copy the structure of the poem as well. Think about what we said on Monday about your handwriting and the things you need to think about. Take your time. And then for topic this afternoon, we're thinking about animal prints. Animal prints, there's loads of different types of animal prints. The obvious ones are like cheetah print or leopard print. We have tiger's fur, which is a really beautiful pattern. But there are lots and lots of different types of animal prints. You could think about some different reptiles. You could think about some other mammals, like even giraffes and zebras. Not a mammal, but tortoises have the most beautiful shell patterns. Even like sea creatures like fish, and all, like, my mind is exploding with the amount of beautiful patterns that we have in nature, specifically animals. What I would like you to do today is, a bit like I just mentioned about the surprise picture. I want you to use some materials you've got around your house. If you've got some old newspapers or magazines or catalogues, I would like you to tear some of those up and have a go at recreating a animal print. So don't worry about the colours being the same. You might just be thinking about the textures or the shading. If you only have black and white newspaper, you could try and use that to recreate either a black and white print like a zebra, or you could be creative and create like a cheetah print or a leopard print using just black and white. Do you remember when we were looking at shade and tone, and we had a go at doing not Monet, like was it Van Gogh? Van Gogh's Starry Night painting, and we were looking at the foreground, the midground, and the background, and we were using just black and white paper and grey. You could just do it in black and white, which would be pretty cool. But if you don't have any newspaper or magazines or anything at home that you can rip up, you could just do this with pencil and paper, or you could use colours if you have colours too. You might want to try and do a couple of them. It's up to you. I look forward to seeing them. Hope you're all okay. Look forward to seeing you all on the Zoom later. Have a good day. Bye.